New Orleans is harmonious with good food, good drinks, and good times on Bourbon Street. To us, the Crescent City is much more than the French Quarter, and it's very Black. Professional Black Girl covers everyday topics to acknowledge the excellence of Black women.
Even the person that took my job now, when I see him, he be like, Fresh, I don't know how you did this. I'm a woman. I'm a Black woman, and that's what we do.
A professional Black girl is a sister with game, a hustler, a code switcher, and a queen from across the diaspora. Dr. Yaba Blay creates space to share personal stories, celebrate cultural experiences, and showcase the nuances of being a Black woman living in the Big Easy. On this episode, Professional Black Girl. Afropop, the ultimate cultural exchange, celebrates its 13th season with a collection of trailblazers, pioneers, and everyday Black excellence. A transgender activist, a family searching for answers, the women who give New Orleans its vibrance, a revolutionary visual artist, racism in the Dominican Republic, a visionary mayor of Chicago, and a sound sweeping the streets of Cuba. Afropop brings you across the world to experience Blackness. Funding for Afropop, the Ultimate Cultural Exchange, is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the National Endowment for the Arts.
First thing I want you to do is put on your radio voice.
I do not know how to do that.
You need a microphone? We don't have a microphone.
I don't have a microphone. Okay.
You need something?
I'm gonna do
I'll
it.
Give
me a curling iron. So I walk in the radio station, and I pull up the computer, press my little button, and it's like...
You want me to not look at you?
Yeah, okay. Nobody look at me.
Nobody look at Fresh.
All right. It's Power 102.9, non-stop for hip-hop and R&B, the freshest girl in the world on your radio. Make sure you give me a call and get your request in. 260-1029 is the phone number to dial. Make sure you keep it locked. It's Power, baby. And that's it. So, Fresh, yo,
is the mayor of New Orleans.
unofficially,
in the back seat of the car. What are we doing? Where are we going?
We're
What's
gonna
going on?
have a drink.
Why are we wearing fur coats?
Because we're gonna have a drink like some grown-ass women.
Meet Fresh Johnson, rocker of fur coats and New Orleans humidity, queen of Every Hour is Happy Hour, and co-producer of this series. Now, this professional Black girl may not clock in at City Hall, but Fresh is my mayor of New Orleans. Always plugged in, always moving and shaking, and always down for a good time. She is all things New Orleans. But I'll let my girl introduce her own self.
Fresh Johnson is a radio personality, a wedding planner, a podcaster, a hustler. If you want stuff to happen, you have to work for it. So in my head, I'm always like, this is what I want. So what do I have to do to make this happen? And sometimes it's just a multitude of things you gotta do to make something happen. But like, I'm my mother's child, so it's really all I know. I've always known my mother to work very hard so that we were good. And growing up into myself, I did that. Well, I think about like everything that she endured for me. Like, she could just work one job and been good, you know? But she wanted to work two because she wanted me to be able to have a dress for school pictures, you know? She worked at the mall so she could get a discount so I could get school clothes. And I think sometimes I'm kind of on the fence about kids because it's like, will I be able to love somebody that much? Can I just drop them off to my mama and she take them? Like, How do you love somebody so much? So that's what inspires me, her. And it comes from my dad too. Now my dad was a different kind of hustler, but but he was hard working at it, you know. Sorry, Daddy. There's a mindset that you can't be the jack of all trades because you won't master anything. Like, that's old school. Now we doing everything. I feel like I live in two worlds. I'm a radio personality and a wedding planner. As the radio personality world, I have a weekend radio show. It's all online waiting on you right now at power1029.com.
102.9.
And I talk about stuff, you know, like new music, entertainment news. And I've been doing radio since I was like 19 years old. I swear the only person that was listening was my grandma, because she used to call me. She would stay up till it was over. She would call me and tell me, good job, baby, and, you know, tell me, play my song, Mariah Carey. What song, Mama? Touch My Body. Who you want to touch your body? Why are you requesting this song? But you know what? I will play it for her. Power 102.9 New Orleans party station. Your girl Fresh Johnson waking you up. Happy Sunday to you. Good morning. With radio, it's something I love. It is my first love. Like, I don't think I want to ever stop doing that. But the ends wasn't meeting like they needed to. And wedding planning started out as a hobby. Like, one of my best friends asked me to plan her wedding. And I was like, all right, girl, how you do that? And we just winged it. So I owe her another wedding. But it picked up, you know, word spread, and I started getting clients by word of mouth. I began to take wedding planning more seriously as like a full-time thing when a wedding that I had went viral. So there was a blog post that a young lady made on this website called Shop Black. She was talking about having a very New Orleans wedding. And I ended up sending her an email, and she said something about a discount because you gonna blow up after this. Now, people ask for discounts, but she's mighty boisterous telling me I should give her a discount because I'm gonna blow up after this. But I did it.
Hold on. The boisterous bride of whom Fresh speaks so happens to be my sister. Y'all will get to meet her a little later this season, but let me tell you, boisterous doesn't even begin to describe Chantrell P. Lewis at all.
It was crazy. It was named the blackest wedding ever. And after that wedding went viral, the inquiries started coming in. And so I always said that, you know, one day I'm gonna have to choose whether I wanna be a radio personality or whether I wanna be a wedding planner. But it just worked out to where, you know, I was able to shift from full-time radio and part-time planning to full-time planning and part-time radio. So something that I noticed being an entrepreneur, people aren't exaggerating when they say black women have to do everything 10 times harder. I work from home. So unless I'm like going somewhere, I don't really have to put real clothes on. Baseball cap, tights, workout shirt, tennis shoes. I don't put my wig on every day. I don't have time for that. And when I go somewhere, I almost have to buy something from any store I go into, because they almost look at me like, what you doing in here in the middle of the day? Oh, she ain't got no job. That nice bag probably fake, or she brought it with her income tax money. Like, I tell you, no lie. Whereas a white woman could go in the store with the exact same thing. Oh, she's a stay-at-home mom, you know? She got a break from the kids, gonna come do some shopping. Our realities are so different. One of my best friends is a white chick, and we talk about stuff like that, you know? We can have the same thing on. She a soccer mom, I ain't got no job. And I hate that. Oh, why you always want to play the race card? Because that's the game. You know, it's gonna always boil down to that. So it makes you uncomfortable, that's cool, let's talk about it. It makes me uncomfortable too, when you looking at me like I'm about to steal something. All because I didn't feel like putting on my wig and real clothes today. When I was in school, my professors used to tell me, I should know where you from when you open your mouth. And I'm like, we got a problem then. They had already counted me out because I was dark-skinned, because I have a thick accent. But coming back home, there are opportunities that embrace you for being who you are. So that's why I love doing Go Nola TV. For Go Nola TV, I'm Fresh Johnson. Fresh Johnson. Fresh Johnson. I'm Fresh Johnson. See you next time.
Besides her radio and wedding lives, Fresh hosts Go Nola TV for the city's tourism industry. I keep telling y'all, this girl is oh so New Orleans.
I never thought that I would be a person to be in front of a camera for work. And all I had to do was just be me. I just like being myself. My grandmother liked me, so you should like me too. You should like me as I am, because my grandma liked me.
Oh, I can't deal with you.
What I love most about New Orleans is there's a space for everybody to be exactly who they are here. And it's a great space to find yourself too. Because you have to be a responsible person to be in New Orleans. Like, nobody gonna stop you from drinking. Trust me, nobody has stopped me yet. We have a lot of character here. There's a certain sense of self and confidence that a lot of New Orleans people have. That's half the battle right there. But the best part is that we get the costume up for Mardi Gras and like dance in the street, which I absolutely love. When I was in high school, I was a majorette, so I've always loved marching parades and stuff. After high school and as an adult, I was like, dang, I missed that. And so I ended up being in this group called the Pussyfooters. It's like being in high school all over again. You know, you get to see the little girls on the side, their eyes just big and excited, and it's like, is she judging me because I got a bra on and my chest out, or is she just genuinely happy to see a grown-up having this much fun dancing in the street? So Mardi Gras is super, super important. Like, it's my favorite time of the year. My name is Fresh Johnson, and I'm a radio personality, a host, and a wedding planner, and I'm a professional Black girl.
Boom. So since you work in the area of speech, do you code switch?
I definitely code switch, probably on a daily basis.
Give me your code switch voice.
Camilla, girl. What I told you? I told you to stop doing that. Get over here now. So somebody comes to me, hi, my name is Gina, how can I help you? One thing about New Orleans, when you meet somebody and if you don't know them, besides asking them where they're from, what school you went to. Usually they talk about high school, but like a lot of times we talk about elementary school because that's where we started a lot of our friendships. You kind of went by culture, you went by neighborhood, you went by families. You know, a lot of us went to Catholic schools. And I don't know that it was financial. And I had friends who went to public schools whose parents could afford to send them to wherever they wanted to go, but I think for them it was generational. You know, all the family went to that school, so you're gonna go there too. Growing up, you don't know race. We're taught that by somebody. It's not automatically instilled. I just found out from a friend that we integrate our elementary school. I didn't know that. We came from, I want to say a little highfalutin preschool, Martinez preschool.
Martinez Kindergarten School is said to be the first and only pre-kindergarten school for children of color in Louisiana.
We left there and went to St. Leo the Great. Well, I mean, we went with our friends. So far as we knew, we just went to school with our friends. We did not know that we were integrating this white Catholic school, but it didn't affect us. And like some of those students I moved to high school with when I went to Cabrini, and we're still friends to this day. And from there, I went to XU, Xavier University.
Where are we going? Where are you taking us?
Right now, we are going to Xavier University, HBCU in New Orleans.
What years were you at Xavier?
79 to 84.
That's interesting. My dad was there during that time.
Really?
Those was probably the time I was terrorizing the campus.
Yes, indeed. Probably so, probably so.
I wanted to include Miss Gina in this season of Professional Black Girl, not just because of the school she attended, but because of her identity.
So I'm gonna ask you the question that people from New Orleans wouldn't ask, but people who are not from New Orleans probably would ask. Miss Gina, are you Black?
Racially, I am Black. My birth certificate says Negro or colored or one of those. Growing up, you know, you're Creole of color. But as you get older, you realize Creole is not a race. Creole is a culture. It's traditions and family. But anybody asks me, what am I? I'm Black.
Miss Gina just referred to herself as Creole. Now, if you're familiar with New Orleans history and culture, then you're familiar with what or who Creole is. But if you're not from here, you might require a little more explanation.
I mean, you always knew you were mixed with something. And if you're around, oh, you one of them Creoles from the Seven Water, oh, you must have the Indian in you, especially if you had a little tint to your color. But Creole is a mixture of Black, French, Spanish, and Indian. And I guess that's the way they got, oh, you got that Indian in you. When you picture Indians, you picture, brown people, long hair. But then you have some very fair Creoles who, passed for white. A lot of them left, married outside of their race. Some of them told their families, some of them didn't. But it's basically a culture. It's what you know, it's what you learn. It's you know you're not 100% of anything. You're just not sure what percentage of what you actually are. Because that kind of depends if you came from the plantation side or if the French that settled here, if you came from that side. It's just a big, like they say, the gumbo pot. It's a mixture of a little bit of everything that we find here in the city. The culture is, they used to speak the French language. The older generation did. They didn't really transfer it down to the younger generation, mainly because when they were talking, they didn't really want you to know what they were talking about or who they were talking about. It's the neighborhoods, it's the 7th Ward, the 8th Wards of Treme. It's the food, the way we cook, because we cook differently from even the Cajun, they want to call us Creole Cajun. It's totally different. We use a lot of seasoning, we don't measure anything. We mix things together, just to make a meal.
Is Creole something you're proud of?
I do feel that Creole is something I am proud of. The only thing is, as you think about it and you visit the plantations, when you go and you see the houses, the things that were there, where they had to sleep, how they lived, you get angry. And, because people said, oh, y'all have that heritage, but you're like, your grandmother, grandfather, great, or whatever, 3rd, 4th generation down, they were raped. It's not like they gave it up. Some may have, if they felt that's what they had to do, they went into it, wholeheartedly, okay, well, if this is gonna get me out of here, get me and my children out of here, or my family out of here, this is what I'll do. I'll just have to, submit to whatever's gonna happen. But prior to that, they had no choice, they had no choice. So it's two sides to it. It makes you angry, especially when you're just reading and thinking about things that have gone on in the past. It's like, we shouldn't be so proud, but we have no choice. I mean, we can't change it. We can't change it.
In addition to growing up Creole, Miss Gina also grew up Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras! A series of things just kind of snowballed and one thing after the other, where Mardi Gras has always been a pretty big part of, my life and family. I pretty much grew up with Mardi Gras as a child. We rode on a truck float. Well, this was back in the day where, you decorate your truck, you get on, and you ride anywhere in the city. There were no ordinances. We had to follow, we didn't follow a route. So we just mapped out our route. Oh, we're going by so-and-so's grandma first. Oh, we going here. So I did that as a child. When I was in high school, my dad and my brother went zoo. So we had moved from the truck float to the zoo parade. Then my parents opened up a Mardi Gras business. They had the contracts to do the Mardi Gras beads for the different crews. So every year, Mardi Gras. Our lives were consumed with that. Got kind of frustrating because you had no life. Once January hit, till Mardi Gras. And then I kind of took a break. Then a few years ago, a crew started, predominantly Black, all-female Mardi Gras parading crew. So I was recruited to join that, and then our first year riding, I was recruited to be a lieutenant. So I'm like, oh Lord, I thought I was finished with Mardi Gras. I got back into it, just to jump back into it and kind of get that feel of Mardi Gras again. Mainstream, they're just coming to see, oh, New Orleans is the party city, oh, we're just gonna go drink and have fun and fall out and just wake up the next day and do it all over again. But for us, Black community, Everybody knows somebody on a float in some parade. You know somebody in the band, your daughters, your son, your grandbaby, somebody, we're coming out to see somebody. It's more of a family day and outing, and we're going to see our friends, rather than I'm just coming to see what y'all doing. Being in New Orleans, I enjoy most, I guess, the freedom. It's home. I mean, you know, like this is no place like home. But it's just being able to be ourselves. You know, nobody's judging you here at any time. I am Gina Smith. I'm a speech-language pathologist. I'm natural in New Orleans, and I'm a professional Black girl.
My name is Taj Williams. I'm masked as a Mardi Gras Indian, and also I'm a student at Tulane. I think it's the fact that I'm masked as a Mardi Gras Indian that makes me a professional Black girl. I started masking in 2009. The year prior, in 2008, I saw a child masking, and I didn't know that children could mask. I thought it was just mainly for men and sometimes like the queen of the tribe. And my uncle masked, and so I asked him, you know, Uncle, can I mask too? He said, we're gonna start you tomorrow.
Just like that?
Just like that. It's really simple, actually, getting into a tribe. It's not as thought out as you would think. Mardi Gras Indians, we mask pay homage to Native Americans that helped slaves get free. But you see Mardi Gras Indians because back in the day, African Americans were not allowed to participate in the mainstream Mardi Gras. So they hid on the back streets behind masks and made suits, and that was their celebration. It was their own separate Mardi Gras. There's a saying from my old chief, Bodalis Sr. Every year around Carnival Time, we make a new suit. Making your own suit is mandatory. It's the most important part of masking Indian because you have a different kind of glory when you make your own suit. When you make your own suit, you know that you're beautiful, unique, different. You transform into a different person. You don't get that same feeling if you have someone else to make your suit. It takes a year to sew a suit from the previous Mardi Gras to the next Mardi Gras. I sew every day. My best hours are from like 9 o'clock to like 4 o'clock in the morning because that's the hours I don't have my mom coming in trying to clean up my workspace. I don't have my brother knocking on the door, loud in his room rapping. So it's just my quiet time. It's crazy how things happen. When I made 18 and I did the two-piece suit, I didn't know that this was gonna be featured in Vogue and this was gonna be a big thing. I was just sitting in a parking lot and this lady dressed in regular clothes came up to me and said, hey, can I take your picture? And I said, sure, I take pictures all day long. So I just took the picture and then we went on about our way. And then like a few weeks later, I look up and everybody's sharing this post from Vogue and I'm like, is that me? What made that two-piece suit unique was it's never been done before. Typically, when you see a queen, she's in a dress, that's the traditional style, but I didn't want to wear the traditional style dress anymore. Number one, I have a really small body, so I was like, this doesn't complement my body in any way, and I either look like a child or I look like a little boy. So I wanted to show that I'm an 18-year-old girl. And it's so crazy because I have 2 elders in my family that mask. And when they first saw the suit, they were like, oh no, she can't come out here like this. And you gonna wear it with your stomach out, baby? So I'm like, you know what, I got this, y'all. Just, you know what I mean? And then when I was getting all up, they was like, that's my niece. And I'm like, but you didn't believe in me though. Okay, I'm gonna let you rock though.
Every suit tells a story. I always do stories personal to myself because to me, it's easier to finish the patches that way. You see it more. I did queens in prayer, queens in meditation. So that's what my suit reflects this year. And I don't know if you can tell, but all of them have long hair.
Yes.
And I have long hair.
My hairstyles definitely set me apart from the traditional queens that you would see. Usually you would see a queen with like the wig that's 2 braids. Me personally, I don't think wigs look good on me, so I have adopted this name. This chief calls me Queen Pocahontas. At first I used to wear my real hair. My real hair was long enough for me to just wear the 2 braids, but I was like, I gotta give this a little bit more. So I wore my hair just long and straight. It wasn't this long, but it was, I think it stopped like right here. And everybody went crazy because that was another thing that they weren't used to seeing. But then I was like, let's take this a step further. How can I wow the people? So I was like, let's do 30 inches of hair. And when I did that 30 inches, they went crazy. They were like, oh yeah, that's Queen Pocahontas, big queen, you know what I mean?
So what does it mean to be a Mardi Gras Indian queen?
When you're a queen, it's not just being a queen in the suit. You're a queen in the suit and you're a queen outside of the suit. So that means offering advice, offering anything that can help. You know, I got one of my spy boys in school, you know what I mean? So it's just helping fill out job applications, anything. You're a queen in the suit and outside of the suit. And I stay true to that, and I think that's why I have the relationship I have with the men in my tribe. It's special to me because I feel like my tribe wanted me in this position. You know, I'm not related to anybody in my tribe, and I'm not married to my chief or anything like that. So I feel like this position was made for me. So it's really an honor to be a queen, especially since like if the tribe comes to you and asks you to be their queen, that's an honor. Yeah. They see something in you that they don't see in anybody else.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
So you have a spy boy. That's the first person in the tribe that you meet. His job is to scout the city for different tribes. And when a tribe is coming, he's gonna shoot a signal to the flag boy. He's next in line. The flag boy's job is to hold, or we say tote the banner of the tribe. So you don't have to wonder what tribe it is because there will be a flag boy with the tribe's name on it. After that is the wild man. He's the person that everybody is usually afraid of. He's the one that's moving the crowd back and making way for the chief and stuff, but he protects the tribe. After is the queens in the tribe. So you may have a little queen, you may have a big queen, a second queen, just depends on how many queens they have in the tribe. After you have the big chief. The big chief is the head of the tribe. I don't know how else to put, he's like the president. So he is in control of what the tribe is doing. He picks which way we go, what tribes we meet, things like that. I built a suit and it's my own creation, so I'm used to the positive comments and the negative side of it. And I've been able to not necessarily tune out the negative side of it, but own the fact that people are gonna talk about you no matter what you do, and you just have to own it. Like, I don't care what people have to say about me. People have a problem with me with the two-piece, although a lot of queens are starting to try it. I think it just goes back and forth. If you do it first, you're gonna get a lot of backlash for it, but they don't tell you that they wanna try it. Secretly, they wanna try it too, and they're mad that they didn't think of it first. It's all about thinking of something first. Whoever thought of it first, you know, you win because you thought of it first, and if people do it behind you, you get to say, oh yeah, I already did that, you know, that's old. You gotta catch up now. Although I don't think evolution is a bad thing, I'm not necessarily trying to evolve our tradition. I just want to involve our youth in the tradition. The only way to keep our tradition going is to bring the kids in and involve them in it. Although I get a lot of negativity because of the style of suits that I do, I don't care. I didn't know how else to put that one. I don't care. It comes with the territory. If you want to be one of the greats, you have to take whatever comes with it. My name is Taj Williams. I'm a Mardi Gras Indian queen, and I'm a professional black girl.
The moment I recognized that I had a voice, which is when I left New Orleans to go to school at the Howard University, is when I recognized that my actual voice, my accent, my dialect made me extremely different from those around me. It situated me in a specific way in a very authentic black experience from New Orleans, Louisiana. Growing up in New Orleans, I thought everybody talked like us. I thought everybody ate the food that we ate. You know, we watched the Cosby Show, and I'm like, we sound like them. And it's like, but no, we don't. And so it was when I first came in contact with the diaspora at Howard that I'm like, oh shit, like New Orleans is this very special, specific, nuanced place within this like greater world, right, of blackness. That's very beautiful, that's rooted in a lot of West African and Central African traditions. It's also that Caribbean, Haitian influence. And it's very gritty and it's very urban. And so for me, when I think that people have paid more respect to like other spaces in the diaspora, I'm like, we got that right here in New Orleans, right? And so for me, it was always very important that my worldview and my lens is through a New Orleans lens. So I think that was also even amplified even more after Katrina, because I realized that our voices, like literally, were in danger of being lost. Like literally, our history, our culture was in danger of being wiped out after the storm. And so I was committed to, telling our story wherever we went, even more so, and now more than ever.
Now is probably as good a time as any to tell you that Chantrell is not just another dope New Orleans sister who we decided to feature on Professional Black Girl. This one here, yeah, she's my ace, my best friend. Like, we're talking TT to my babies, like maid of honor at her wedding. More on that in a minute, but yeah, she's my full-on sister. All right, let's get back to it.
I'm a curator by trade, and I didn't always know I wanted to be a curator. I thought I wouldn't be a doctor, didn't want to work under fluorescent lights, so I decided senior year, much to the chagrin of my parents, that I was going to be a doctor. I wanted to actually do radio and TV. I was on WPGC 95.5, always blazing at least 18 jams in a row. And prior to that, I actually wanted to rap when I was growing up. Okay, this is your girl Chantrell, better known as Gangsta Brown. Shout out to my great grandma that used to live right around the corner on Parker Street. Okay, I used to rap with my girl Lil E. We had a group named SWG, Sisters with Game. And so, I was just trying to rap to bring the consciousness to the people, to teach the truth to the young black youth. So hold on, let me see if I can remember one of my rhymes. Hold on, here you go. All right, thinking with a madman's mind as I start to rhyme.
As I start to rhyme, I'm sitting back grieving over the crimes that happen every second, minute, hour of the day. Every time I turn around, another brother is slain. On the front of every paper, a black person's dead. What can I do besides shake my head? It really upsets me when I witness and see future doctors and lawyers buried 6 feet deep.
Future doctors and lawyers buried 6 feet deep. This gangsta B shouting out with a hip-hop swing. How could this be? How could this be? How could this be? How could this happen to me? It was through Africana studies. I started working and volunteering at the African American Museum in Philadelphia when I was in grad school at Temple, TU, mother. It was there that I realized I really had a passion for teaching our history in a way that wasn't in a traditional classroom. And that's when Katrina hit. And so I was like, I can't preserve our history and culture when our history and culture is, in danger of being lost. And so I came back home, met Dr. Dwight McKenna. He owns the McKenna Museum uptown. So we met. He made me the director and curator of the museum, and I've been curating ever since. My background isn't in Western art history. My background is in the streets, right? Art history of the streets, like seeing Mardi Gras Indians growing up, seeing the second line, and just like the colors of shotgun houses, the aesthetics of black women's hair, right? So my understanding of our art comes through a very African-centered lens, and that comes from my education at Temple, where we look at art as a function, which it always was a function in a traditional African context. It was a mask. It wasn't for hanging on a wall in a museum, but it was actually for a ceremonial purpose, whether somebody was being born, somebody was getting married, people were going off to war. And so I'm just really passionate about expressing our stories and translating our stories through aesthetics, and just really exploring all the nuances that make us so beautiful and gorgeous and brilliant as a people. 2004 was the first time I really left out of the country. Got my passport. First I went to London and Madrid, and then I went to Brazil. And it was such an exhilarating experience. I was a dark-skinned black girl from New Orleans, and I'm in another country, surrounded by people who are speaking in different languages, who looked nothing like me, seeing other people, though, who did look like me, who had like a completely different, background and like, family history and cultural history. And it was like one of the most exhilarating experiences that I had in my life. Like, it was the biggest high. And it was like a level of freedom that I've never experienced in my life. And I was like, it was like infectious. Like, I was addicted to it. I was like, I need to have this all of the time. And so I've been doing it ever since, traveling around the diaspora, going back and forth and really exploring our culture. It's important for me to not only go to a place, but also like to, give back, support the economy there. So I co-founded a company called Shop Black with my husband, Tony.
Shop Black's goal is building generational wealth in our community by networking and supporting Black-owned businesses across the diaspora. Now Chantrell is taking me to one of Shop Black's favorite Black shops in New Orleans, Material Life.
This store is owned by a sister named Carla Williams. She collects all of these like amazing vintage art, just all kinds of objects from like around the Black world. So, it's my spot. Like, let's go into Material Life. Girl, look at what you did. Like, first of all, when you come into Material Life, you're going to spend all of your money.
All of your money!
Everything you love about New Orleans is because of Black people. Can I get an amen? Y'all gonna see me wearing this shirt? Because everything.
One of Chantrell's priorities at Shop Black, as well as in life, is making sure she can keep her hair looking fly, no matter what corner of the globe she finds herself in.
When traveling, you need to get your hair cut, right? You need to get your nails done. No matter where I go, I have barbers in London, Amsterdam, Suriname, Curacao, Nigeria, right? All over the U.S. You gotta keep it fresh. You out of town, you in Black spaces. You gotta keep the fresh fade, you know what I'm saying? You gotta keep the fresh, whether you got a big old fro, got my fade, that's very important to me. And that allows me to like really get like deeply rooted in the community. When I was growing up, first of all, my mama, shout out to Pat, Patricia Calvin Scott, Elaine Calvin Scott, the original professional Black girl, right? My mama stayed getting her hair done. It's like during a time when, Anita Baker's being on the radio, Luther Vandross, all these people, and Pat is going to get her hair done. Pat would never ever have her child out in those streets without her hair done. So Chantrell was going to Miss Dion up in Algiers, getting my hair done like every week, every other week. That part of like self-care and that culture was just like very important in my family. My grandma Gladys, Gladys got her hair done. She would catch her cab up in Algiers, go get her hair done, come home, go to church, right? When I grew my perm out, which has been about like 20-something years, I've been natural. I've played with different hairstyles. I've had flat tops, I've had huge bushes, I've had locks. And so, lately I've been, wearing my hair short. And so it's interesting transitioning from a beauty salon culture where you're around, predominantly women to then being in barbershops where you around, men. Sometimes they'll, depending on the barbershop, they'll, switch the conversation because they're mindful of not only a woman, but the type of woman that I am. So it's like, oh, peace queen, peace sis, all that, right? Like, why I gotta be a queen, call me king. I think across the board, I try to go to barbershops where I feel safe and where I feel comfortable. Like, I'm not going to a barbershop where they're like bitches, hoes, and stuff. Sometimes the music can be a little bit too much. Sometimes I'm like, yo, bro, can you change the music, right? And they'll always oblige me, but I mean, the culture is so different. I mean, but it's also the same. Like, women talk about men and a whole bunch of things. Men talk about the same thing, talk about, music, they talk about sports, they talk about stuff that's going on in their family and their relationships. It's the same type of culture. So when I got married, I definitely was getting married in New Orleans. And I remember I had all these Black vendors, but I was like, I need a wedding planner. And so everybody was like, oh, holla at Fresh, holla at Fresh. And Fresh, well, Fresh. So if you don't, you will know Fresh very soon. The blackest wedding ever. It was the blackest wedding ever. I knew for my wedding, I didn't want to have like one of those boring sit down, stuffy weddings where you like eating dinner, we're giving a toast, blah, 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 blah. I was like, we are going to party from the time we jumped that broom till the time the Ace Hotel kicked us out. And that's what we did. And so, you know, joint went viral. My husband is Nigerian, and so everyone expected this big, like, traditional Nigerian wedding. I'm like, why do we have to go all the way to Nigeria for culture and for heritage and traditions when we have that right in New Orleans? And I mean, and granted, those traditions are African, essentially, but second lining, you know, partying, all of that, that's New Orleans, that's us. So, you know, it was very important for me to be surrounded by my family, you know, who can't always travel. It was also very critical for me to bring people here, right? To like not try to recreate it somewhere else, but to actually like create this like celebratory moment right here in the place where I was born and raised. And so my ancestral spirits are here. They're buried in this ground, this earth, like dating back hundreds of years. Like this is where I needed to be to actually, you know, jump the broom, tie that knot, to have the blackest wedding ever. I am Chantrell Patrice Joan Lewis. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. I am a curator, I'm an author, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a writer, I'm a social entrepreneur. I am a priest of Shango, and I am a #1 original, the greatest, the most amazing, the most incredible professional black girl. You heard me? Oh, okay. Oh, all right now.
That hair, y'all. Tariana Ball, also known as Tank, has been out here repping black girl culture like no other.
We are taking the babies and we'll never forget you. You feel the same way about a night like tonight. Clap this.
Let's meet the professional black girl behind the music and up under that hair.
I am a professional black girl because I never saw my blackness as something that was negative. I always saw it as a plus. Like, man, I'm so chocolate and I have these really pretty teeth and really dark big eyes, and I'm Reverend Bradford's granddaughter and I'm really lucky. I feel really good about owning the skin. If I had to die and come back as a race, I would probably be another black girl. And if that, I would be a chubby Asian girl. That would be cool. Pure Beauty was the shop that helped launch us off. This shop was literally our second show ever. Brenda, who does my hair, and her sister, Gwen, they would put on these Valentine's Day shows and Halloween parties. Like, this shop was just the place to be. I put together a show called As Random as Love. And they were just so supportive of me. They had a photographer here early, and the shop was packed full of people. My band sounded horrible. It was an awesome night. It was so much energy. It was so cool. My music don't just go to bounce, of course, like many know Big Freedia now. And it doesn't just go to brass music, because the soul rebels are getting a really good name these days. And it's not Lil Wayne. It's its own thing. Because we have so many influences that we don't leave nothing by the curbside. So when I'm doing a show, I'm gonna put bounce music in there because that's what I grew up on. If there's a moment of jazz, I'm gonna do that too because I was influenced by that as well. And you know, I'll even rap because I feel like it. So I'm influenced in that way because New Orleans have a lot of different stuff. I'm just happy to be one of those people that's hold the flags to let you know that it's way more going on. Me and Miss Brenda have, we've gone through some things. I don't even know how the relationship started as far as her doing my hair. I think she offered one time and then she was like, Tank, you could be like my billboard person. You could represent these black girl styles for me. My head was kind of a way for her to exercise her creative energy, and I let her do it. all the time?
Oh, I have such an awesome relationship with Tank. We kind of combine on an artistic level. Our minds connect together when it comes to creativity. And she, well, you know, she pulls that out of me. You know, she just let me go free. My first love was art. And Tank is definitely an art piece. And sometimes I come to her and I say, oh, I have this vision, you know, and I want to try this on you, Tank.
We've used so much bag of old weave. I just had a trash bag full of weave underneath my bed because we just kept recycling hair. I'm not about to give Beauty all my money, so we just kept recycling hair and kept coming up with creative styles. Especially around Essence time, we would just be walking around just with these crazy hairstyles. We were quite adventurous when we first got together, and we weren't scared of nothing. We really weren't.
Lord, we've calmed down over the years. We've calmed down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See what I mean? Tank is dope, right? I told y'all. Once Miss Brenda finished laying them baby hairs, Tank wanted to show me one of her favorite spots in the city, Studio B.
I went to Los Angeles. Shut up! Oh my God.
On the way there, we found out that she went to the same elementary school as my daughter. If you didn't already know, New Orleans is a small town, baby. You're gonna know somebody who knows somebody. This is dope, this is dope, this is dope, this is dope.
Crazy, huh? It's bigger than life.
An abandoned warehouse turned art gallery studio. Studio B is filled with massive murals and larger-than-life installations. Art that tells stories about Black history, Black culture, and the Black experience. These words are like haunting me. Baptized when the levees broke.
For some reason, this one gets photographed the most. It really does.
Why you think that is?
I think it's because people think about living free and the fact that they weren't always, and those words are really, you know, they really make people feel some type of way.
Now this is the piece that was on Queen Sugar, huh?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. He got my nose looking so cute. He got my edges in the, how you spray paint edges? This is a special place. I'm so happy that it exists. New Orleans needed it. New Orleans needed it. New Orleans plays a big role in my life because everywhere I go, New Orleans is with me. No matter where I go, I'm just always so proud to say, I came all this way from New Orleans. And they go, ah! I can't wait to say that, like, you know, like I came a long way. I came from the bottom of the map just to be with you guys. But that's where I came from. The people make up this city. You know, the food is good, but it would be nothing without somebody to cook it. The music is awesome, but if it's not a brass band on the street playing it, then, you know, what are you enjoying? It's that sweetness. It's that automatic kiss on the cheek, and I don't even know you. They nice, they good. They're gonna beep at you if they see you sitting on your porch. They are gonna ask about your mom if they haven't met her. They're just good people, and you literally carry that spirit wherever you go, and you know that it's special because when you go other places, you realize that everybody's not like you, or they can't have the same conversation as you carrying with the Orleanians. It's like a badge of honor when you go other places and you tell them that that's where you're from. It really is. You know, that's how I feel like New Orleans has shaped me. I literally feel like I'm New Orleans baby girl, like I'm the baby girl of my family. Like, yep. My name is Terriana Tank Ball, and I am one of the best versions of myself today. And I am a professional Black girl. Okay. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yakami is always one of those things I'm like, what is it and how did we get it? Because, you know, most people know New Orleans for gumbo and red beans and jambalaya and everything else but yakami.
But yakami. It is a New Orleans traditional soup that has always been in the Black community. The Chinese, they're the ones that brought that here, and they merged with the Black African Americans, and we made a dish out of it.
Right.
Right here on the corner, right here, right here.
Miss Linda is bringing me to her kitchen space in the Bywater to try yakami, the local New Orleans dish that she is now famous for. As you can see, Miss Linda, who is affectionately known as the Yakami Lady, is well loved around these parts.
Lots and lots of people from all over the world come to see Miss Linda. We just drove out here to come and get some yakami. Yes. And what makes it feel good too is that they come, after they done ate up all their food, they come back and tell me, that's great, Miss Linda, that's great.
Is that good?
It's that good. That's that killing yakami. And I'll kill you, yakami. I started cooking because my mama was a caterer. My mother used to cook for all the judges out back of town. And then she was the lady that did Zulu in the morning before they go get on that float. She was the lady that cooked. Like my mama used to feed the block. That was, and I'll do the same thing now, here. She taught me everything. And this is what I tell a lot of people, and I tell my grandchildren constantly. I'm always bringing her up. I have to bring her up because what she taught me, and what she taught me, I have to tell them about it. I've got to let that come out. But yeah, she taught me everything. She taught me how to cook. She taught me, she said, it's all right to cook for looks, but it's best you cook for taste. And that's something I always make sure I do that. I want to know how it tastes. I know once they taste it and it hit the brain, from that brain it's going right back to the tongue and it's going to say, I want more. Since I've been doing this, I've gotten to the point where I do shrimp and beef. I do an oyster yakami. I mean, it's delicious. I do jerk chicken now, crawfish. I do duck, pork chops. That's something that I grew up on, right? And then plus, I do a smoked sausage one. But you can have just about any meat you want. Another name for yakami is Old Sober. It does sober you up.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it sober you up. I know.
I'm ready to eat. I want to eat.
Okay, there you go. That's it. There you go. Do you like the yakami? I mean, let me know.
Do I like it? I eat this every day.
People from all over the world that come down here, they be coming to me, where the seasoning at? Let me get the seasoning. But my lawyer told me not to put the seasoning out. And I was trying to figure out why they did me that. But he told me these words. He said, if you want a piece of fried chicken from Popeyes, what did you do? And I kept thinking and kept thinking. Then it dawned on me, if I wanted a piece of fried chicken from Popeyes, I had to go to Popeyes to get it. And that's what he wanted. He said, if they want yakami, I want them to come to you and get it.
So that's why you can't tell us about the seasoning?
I have the key. Got the key. Got the key. It's a trade secret. That's the one that Anthony told me to do something with. And I'm glad, you know, I'm gonna tell you something.
Anthony as in Anthony Bourdain?
Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain. You know, he told me that I would be able to do something with this too. He said, this is delicious. And he went crazy with that one. He loved that. That old school flavor with this yakami, I'm the only one with that. I know that you have been to different places to get yakami.
but it doesn't taste like mine. No, that's an old school flavor. A restaurant, this chef wanted to put their yakka meat on their menu. I'm not gonna say their name, but it's a big restaurant. They told them, no way, we ain't putting that on our menu. But guess what? Now they want it. And now what they want to do is upgrade it. So you can't have the recipe. You can put anything you want in it, but they put anything in it. They put everything in it. You know, that's on them. I'm all right with that, you know. I feel like it's enough for everybody to make. I'm still old school. I love being old school, shit. I look at a lot of stuff way back. It was good back then. It was real good. It's totally different now. But you gotta go with the flow. Hey.
Get her.
I know how to do some of that.
Good in the chair.
You can do it good in the chair.
Good in the chair.
Who that is out there? They cutting up. Yes, I am a professional black girl. You believe that, baby? Yes, I love everything about my culture, blackness. I love that. And that's what I teach my grandgirls, my Yakiman grandgirls, to love themselves. I have 4 granddaughters, and I tell them, whatever you want to do or whatever you want to be, go for it. Don't be afraid to, you know, to go into what you need to do. I want them to be comfortable in that, in their skin. So they're gonna teach me how to share off of Instagram. So I'm gonna be sharing a lot of stuff. I don't know how to do it. My name is Chef Linda Green. I am called the Yakiman Lady, and I am a professional black girl. Believe that. I know that's right.
Funding for Afropop, the Ultimate Cultural Exchange, is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the National Endowment for the Arts.